Karma stops typing. Russo is comparing the readings with the data in her notebook. Russo looks at the floppy disks for a long time.
I heard about what happened in the camp. Not the details, but still. Young, gifted folk dying for a common cause. Only this isn't fucking inspiring, but horrifying.
Henrietta chews on the end of her pencil.
I need to check everything 1,000 times or so to ensure we don't fry your brains with the emulator. Although, considering your unique abilities, I'm certain everything will be all right.
She looks down at the teleglasses lying on the table. Henrietta gestures broadly at the emulator platform, just as she did during your first conversation.
Maelstrom's radiation didn't eradicate your mind. I suspect you're able to not only enter the space of the emulator, but also navigate it, and even come into contact with the observed phenomena. And if so, who knows? Perhaps you can influence Maelstrom itself.
Russo blows you a mock kiss.
Everything will be ready in a couple of days, so don't be late, baby. And seriously, thank you again.
Attention.
Possible to avoid. But what if the church could give you the answers you crave? These teleglasses, they are everything we ever expected from them. They are...
Henrietta jumps up from her seat.
Where have you been? I even sent you a message. 4 test runs have been completed under normal conditions. We can get started.
Following the direction of your gaze, Russo nods.
Yep. Today they're blue. That means I'm full of hope for the experiment to succeed.
Russo presses a button on the console.
The doors to the emulator are unlocked. You can go down. I'll start the machine as soon as you get to the launch pad and put on the glasses Abbott gave you. If you feel your life is in danger, halt the session immediately. Good luck.
The closer you get to the spinning rotor of the emulator, the stronger the vibration. It's not simply mechanical motion, but something quite different. Invisible but tangible waves of energy are flowing over and through you. The projectors light up above the site, and Russo's voice booms from the speakers.
Get ready for emulator launch. Counting down now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Her voice explodes in your ears. The world flashes once with an unbearably bright light and drowns. something's happening. Your next footstep falls in a roar of absolute silence. All sense of space and time vanishes, and you find yourself at an indefinable point in a vast white nothing. There's nothing around you but a fathomless sea of white light. But you don't need to see Maelstrom to know it is nearby. Its quick, intense rhythm reminds you of the feverish beating of a huge heart. The pulsing grows even faster as you touch it in your thoughts. All this space without form or boundaries suddenly unfolds towards you, like a giant plane. Like a locator, a dashboard with dozens of buttons ready to launch the exact program you specify. Maelstrom reacts almost instantly. A sharp burst of energy builds like an avalanche, and you're overwhelmed by a blurry, chaotic wave that just as quickly ebbs again. Normal space and time return all at once, and you, suffocating, struggle in the emptiness, falling to your knees. The white light snaps out. You're back in the main hall of the emulator. Yoko looks up as you approach.
Research mode.
You hear the characteristic scanning sound, and a green ray quickly runs through your body from head to toe.
Level of residual psychoradiation. Average, within normal range. Vital indicators, normal. Cognitive function, normal. Glad you're okay, Senpai.
Yoko blinks, her eyes in contempt.
Technically, Senpai, you have become something of a conduit for the Maelstrom's anomalous energy. Unfortunately, I can't say more precisely because I didn't do any research. I assessed the risk for the project and did not enter the restricted area. Here are my approximate calculations.
The robo-girl turns the Kairos screen towards you and displays a huge array of data on it. The fans in the
Okay, Senpai. We will continue our command protocols are set. I am ready to explore the dome, Senpai.
Looking closely at the woman studying the indicators on the remote control panel, you realize that in front of you is Katarzyna Beletskaya. When you approach, she presses her hands to her face, looking at you, then at the devices, then back at you.
Did I succeed? Is that really you? And are you okay?
The white cautiously inquires.
Well, a lot actually.
Katya brisks up.
I finally slept in a normal bed and found an actual hot shower here. Yes, they also serve excellent set meals. I realized that the employees of the emulator have some fine living conditions here. Why the question though? And why are you grinning?
Katarzyna looks at you in confusion. Beletskaya nods readily.
Yes, I too thought we should stick together. I'm willing to come with you and this robo-kid. I've seen her lot in the lab.
Henrietta freezes, phone receiver in hand. Her face is lit up with an expression of pure triumph.
They're calling from everywhere, saying that Maelstrom is moving. I don't want to assume anything. But if it really is retreating to the center, then trade routes will be restored soon. Carmine Heights and Phalanx headquarters will no longer be isolated.
Russo hangs up the receiver and hugs you tight.
I can't believe we made it. If we were in a movie, I'd look deep into your eyes. But since our relationship is strictly platonic...
The phone on the table breaks out with a jarring ring. Henrietta picks up the receiver.
Project Emulator, Director Russo speaking. Madam Chairman. Yes, they're here.
Russo holds out the receiver.
Nakamura!
She exclaims in a dramatic whisper.
I'm glad to meet you, even if it's long distance.
The cold, melodic voice answers you. Nakamura pauses and you hear the subtle click of a button through the receiver.
On behalf of the new committee and its official citizen and other inhabitants, I thank you for your conscientious assistance. I'll be waiting for you at the council building in the city. Please be present for the upcoming meeting.
Now her voice sounds different. She must have switched to speaker mode. The chairwoman ignores this. As soon as you finish, she continues to speak.
Your service has caught the attention of some who erroneously believe they wield real power. They'll approach you with proposals, which might even seem tempting at first glance. Don't agree to anything, and don't make any deals until we had the chance to speak. I look forward to our next meeting. Best of luck to you.
A dial tone sounds from the receiver. Henrietta elegantly shifts her gaze from the phone to you.
Welcome to big-time politics, eh? Don't get your hopes up. Nakamura isn't a very nice person, but I personally prefer not nice Nakamura over nice dilly-dalliers. I don't know what she told you, but you do not want to mess with her.
In the heat of the moment, Russo gives you a peck on the cheek.
Damn, I still can't believe we pulled it off. You're one smart cookie. Go have a drink. You deserve it. I'll write a message to the Treasury. Those guys owe you a solid bonus.
Henrietta proudly raps herself on the chest with her small fist.
Nobody will argue with that. But don't waste your time talking me up. Go rest. I'll start on deciphering the telemetry.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. A better place.
Well, fuck me sideways.
Jack shakes your hand.
There was a movie named Piercing Time, a classic fantasy. When the main character, Doug McConaughey, entered the portal, the film tape was overexposed. It made everything bright and contrasting, and McConaughey seemed to dissolve in the flash of the portal. I watched you disappear in a white glow and remembered this very movie.
The actor shakes his head, as if completely unable to believe that you're standing in front of him. He makes a helpless gesture.
Sorry I missed your return. I was drunk.
Jack looks at your
Why, not even a farewell hug? Tell you what, if the place for the coolest guy on your team is vacant again, I'll be at Magellan, on the administrative floor. Someone's got to be filming corporate propaganda, right?
Jack grins sourly. Sparrow shakes your hand tightly.
I was afraid that something irreparable had happened and these whites simply sacrificed you. These people believe in science, not principles. Of course your death would not have been in vain, but I'd still feel sorry for losing you.
Sparrow wrinkles his forehead.
If I understood everything correctly, you were immersed in the very epicenter of radiation. I looked at you and saw that you were just standing there in the fog, day after day. And it's not clear whether it's you or, I don't know, your corpse maybe?
Sparrow thinks hard.
I would like to do something good for this world with you, but your companions share different views. We can hardly get along. I'll be at the picnic, in case you really need me.
You can barely hear him as you step away. Fox lifts her shoulders slightly. She goes around you in a circle, stretching her neck, tilting her head, and opening her mouth, as if getting a taste of the air.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
You smell like Maelstrom. I like.
The woman nods in satisfaction, looking at you through the slits in the mask. She makes a soft, whimpering sound.
I saw you. There in the white light. And in my dreams. Then the dreams were gone. From me. From everyone.
Fox looks around and raises her shoulders again, as if trying to arch her back.
No. A lot of people are with you.
Daria lifts her mask and looks after you.
I'll be in the arena.
Crump stares at you for a long time, then, without a word, pats your shoulder with a heavy hand. He's obviously glad to see you again, although he doesn't show it. The brute makes a helpless gesture.
Well, there was so much radiation. The sensors went right off the scale. Everyone panicked. Thought you were gone. And there you are, still breathing.
The orange grunts and shakes his head.
Nah, you got a whole crowd with you already. If you were an experienced commander, I'd give it a thought. Hey! If you clear up some space in the party, look for me in Beth's bar. Okay, be seeing you.
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Yeah, see you later.
World a better place.
Forgot something? Goodbye.
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Hello again. See you later.
and I was starting to get bored.
Spangler is our man. Sheriff Vermeer! Sheriff Vermeer! Sheriff Vermeer! Sheriff Vermeer!
You're one of us, and we're not gonna forget it. We're with you, bro.
Sheriff Vermeer! Sheriff Vermeer! Sheriff Vermeer! Sheriff Vermeer!
Hello. It was nice chatting.
Belitskaya casts around nervously.
I'm starting to worry again. Frankly, I'm straight up scared. We're not gonna get stranded far from civilization.
Belitskaya's shifty eyes begin to wander around in fear.
But we're so far away from civilization. Listen, can I stay with you temporarily? Well, until we get to Magellan.
Katarzyna
The research mode is...
The fan in her head begins. Yoko looks at you with anger.
I returned to Magellan to fulfill my...
Catching your eye, the fox immediately...
I don't mind either. Interesting coincidence.
The girl ties the torn...
Come. I'm not comfortable with your trickish woman, but I'm coming with you.
Well, hello there. Later.
How can I help? See you later. How can I help?
You're one of us, and we're not gonna forget it. We're with you, bro.
Howdy. It was night. Oh, you again. Good luck. Greetings. Come back again.
A short man with high cheekbones fixes you with a long stare. He's wearing a blue hat, and his skin is dry as a handful of desert sand. A badge with the name Adam Payton shines on his chest. Payton produces a cigarette, but instead of smoking it, just pinches it in his fingers.
There's a mission. Hard, complicated mission, but a good one. Don't expect a big reward. If you're looking to shake the money tree, this isn't your piece of the pie.
Seeing that you're listening to him, Adam gives you a gracious and respectful look.
I'm Master Sergeant Adam Payton, commander of the Ares operation team. Well, former team. Ares is no more. I'm the platoon's only survivor. None of my guys have been in touch. If I'm right, regulations stipulate that their dog tags have to be removed. We need to find those tags and report on the bodies. Then we can square everything with the rules.
The black snaps his cigarette in two and watches the rusty tobacco fly away in the wind. Payton gives your shoulder a squeeze. His hand is surprisingly heavy for such a small man.
I know who you are. You're an employee. You can handle it. You'll find my guys and bring back their dog tags. Will you do it? They were good people. They deserve this much, at least.
Adam looks at you with both respect and gratitude.
Come back with their dog tags and tell me where their bodies are. We need to give those soldiers a decent burial.
The black tentatively accepts the tag and shakes his head.
Smart guy, this one. Ran a rescue operation at Concord, all on his own. I thought he survived. He didn't.
Peyton touches his hat with 2 fingers.
Thank you for your service.
The black studies the corroded tag for a long while.
Everybody loved Joshua. The guy knew how to motivate people. He was one of the good ones. I always cherish his memory.
Peyton touches his hat with... The black studies the tag thoughtfully.
Dan was bloody smart. He figured out how to catch Maelstrom's frequency at the radio station. The wave's disappearance means Maelstrom has expanded.
Peyton touches his hat. Adam carefully pockets the metal disc.
Marco used to say that everyone's life included a moment they'd been born for. I always remembered that. I believe this was his moment.
Peyton touches his hat. Adam grows thoughtful.
What was his name again? Winston Seth? I've never known a better driver. He went up a mountain road to pick up a group of researchers from a secret base. Never saw him again.
Peyton touches his hat. He gazes reverently at the tag.
Mike was the best field medic of all. He understood what we were in for, but he didn't complain or ask to turn back. He just stayed on task. In the end, he had the hardest time of anyone.
Peyton touches his hat with 2 fingers. He presses the tag in his fist.
Roman Vasiliev. A good, stout-hearted soldier. Only his call sign is weird. What's it supposed to mean anyway?
Peyton touches...
I'm all ears. Good luck. Good day to you. See ya.
I'm listening.
I don't like you. Scram!
Around the aperture at the top of the dome, a transition station was erected, which was called the Spire. It's a pure engineering miracle. Welcome. We are Cronus, your reliable guide to the world of the future. When the dome was found, the space research was built nearby.
Howdy. Have a good one.
Well, I hope we won't see you again.
Make it quick. Yes, you get out now.
The small, delicate woman turns to you from the picture window where she's standing. Kimiko Nakamura. She's barely changed from your last meeting in the Maelstrom psychic space. Nakamura scrutinizes you.
It is indeed you. I might have doubted it when you were on the other side of the camera feed, but now...
Nakamura stops you with a gesture.
No need. I reviewed your file. You arrived under the dome in September 1976, was sent to Nashville on an urgent mission, and disappeared for 2 years. You claim you were in stasis. I think amnesia is a more likely explanation, but I can't know for sure.
Kimiko points to an unoccupied chair.
Sit down, please. Or introduce yourself to the others if there's anyone you don't know. The new committee is the legitimate successor of the Kronos Foundation. We control the major part of the dome, maintain order, and are making efforts to get life here back on track. Not everyone agrees with our message, thus we need stricter laws.
She falls quiet and studies you, as if guessing at the effect of her words. Nakamura stands at the head of the table, leaning with her knuckles on the tabletop, and looks the office over. Once everyone is quietly seated, she nods her satisfaction.
Let's begin.
Nakamura is the first to take the floor.
Thank you for coming, everyone. You already know why we're here. Congratulations! The emulator project developed and launched by new committee researchers have yielded fruit and dramatically changed the Maelstrom situation.
Ishtwani taps the table with one fingernail.
You're intentionally distorting the facts. It's true the project was developed by the new committee, but it would never have launched without Carmine Heights.
The chairwoman reluctantly nods.
Perhaps. But you must agree that both our cooperation and the project's success were made possible by the new committee's oversight and control of the process.
Controlling things is right up your alley. That you can do.
Audrey Melville replies mockingly. Kimiko continues.
You may disagree with the new committee's role in these matters, but our system for selecting test subjects did lead us to the individual, whose unique peculiarities allowed us to make the emulator a truly functioning system.
Nakamura points at you.
Let me introduce our employee.
Everyone's heads swivel in your direction. Reverend Santiago rises from his seat.
Amen. Everything for the sake of the people. I always say that people are our treasure. Sorry, please continue.
The chairwoman raises a hand.
Let's proceed. Maelstrom has shrunk and retreated to the center of the dome. It is, however, too early to claim victory, so the emulator project will advance to phase 2. Its purpose is to obtain complete control over Maelstrom and understand whether the entity can either be switched off or somehow used to our advantage.
Nakamura looks around the room until her gaze rests on you.
each and every one of you, including this employee, is here because you are still useful to this project.
Reverend Santiago rises from his chair.
Brothers and sisters, I see nothing wrong with people being useful to one another. Though it sounds as if Madam Chairwoman wants to use that employee's talent to her own advantage. Please excuse me for being so blunt. And take no offense, I didn't mean anything bad by it.
Nakamura's bionic eye twitches, its diaphragm contracting with a soft rattle. Kimiko raises her hand again, indicating she's ready to speak.
A good point. I understand the importance of maintaining parity. I also understand that any of us could manipulate the project's needs in their party's favor. I cannot prevent this. Therefore, every party has a right to benefit from this employee's help.
Nakamura looks at you expectantly.
I'm sorry, but you'll have to agree. It's for the good of the project.
The chairwoman smiles coldly.
All right.
Kimiko looks around the room once again.
I believe we're in agreement about future cooperation. This next question I wish to address to each party separately.
Nakamura looks at Dawn.
Spencer.
Aye. He says curtly, puffing on his cigar.
The picnic agrees.
Audrey interjects cheerfully.
Santiago.
The chairwoman nods at the churchman. The Reverend rests a hand on his chest, smiling.
Would I throw a wrench in our alliance? I hope my eye will help save all mankind under the dome.
Karma thrums on the table with her fingernails.
You left me for last, I see. On behalf of Carmine Heights, I vote aye as long as the treaty terms are not violated.
Nakamura rests her arms by her sides and performs a curt bow.
Then I thank you for your participation. This meeting is adjourned. And you, employee, please see Henrietta Russo for further instructions.
Russo is clutching a sheaf of papers in her hands. Looks like she started her calculations.
Hi. How was the council meeting? Come on, tell me.
Russo nods her understanding.
I can imagine. They try to project this tough guy image and act like you'd be lost without them. But in reality, it's the other way around. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about the telemetry and what we're going to do next.
Russo waves a sheaf of paper in the air.
To make it short, I deciphered the telemetry and got some interesting results. Maelstrom has shrunk and reduced its activity, not because you made it do so. No. It's trying to protect itself. It actually moved out of the emulator's area of effect by reducing its own size. That doesn't mean we're safer at all. Probably the opposite.
Henrietta makes a strange gesture, as if turning a screwdriver.
Think of a coil spring. I can compress it, squeeze it down smaller, but the energy it contains increases. That's why we should move to the second phase. Are you listening to me? Or is there something else you want to discuss beforehand?
Russo slaps the papers on the table enthusiastically.
Great. Our first task is to force the connection to Maelstrom. Then it will have nowhere to escape, and we'll have total control.
Henrietta pulls a blurry picture of a device from a pile of papers.
This is a Maelstrom beacon. A research team from Carmine Heights has been working a long time on the problem of a direct link with Maelstrom. If they give us at least 3 of those devices, we'll be able to establish a true communication link between the emulator and Maelstrom.
She makes a broad circle of her arms.
Look, this is the dome. We'll place one beacon in Magellan's parking lot, another at the highest point, the viewpoint at Nashville. And the third one should be taken to a very specific point close to Maelstrom. to avoid signal overlap.
Russo stares up at the ceiling.
Things are quite complicated with the third beacon. First, the installation point will be flooded with maelstrom radiation. An unbearable level even for you. But you can endure it with a special implant you can get from the church. Second, we don't know how to get there. We no longer have up-to-date maps of the area. I'm afraid you'll have to interrogate a fop or two for directions.
She fingers the picture of the beacon thoughtfully.
Those things also wear out after contact with an anomaly. That's another problem you'll have to deal with.
Henrietta punches you lightly in the shoulder.
Brilliant, Einstein. We need 3 of them. So if you saw one in Picnic, look there first. As soon as the third beacon is installed, you'll return to the emulator and eliminate Maelstrom's radiation in the zones covered by the beacons. I need some additional equipment delivered to the third beacon. So, would you please procure a heavy-duty truck from the Phalanx and get Nakamura to fund the expedition? Only the new committee can afford these expenses. Phew, that's all. I am exhausted again.
Russo sits down and stretches out her legs, displaying bright orange socks. Ishtwani stops clicking her keyboard and raises her calm, cold gaze to you.
I have an offer for you. I'll explain my behavioral tactics in the council if you tell me why you are acting so arrogant during the meeting.
For some reason, your response impresses her.
Really?
Attention,
Thank you.
The White looks you in the eyes. This simple gesture clearly requires effort on her part.
My behavior in the council was an attempt to balance the generally positive mood. I was adding some constructive criticism to make the discussion of your place in the project more productive.
Ishtwani moves away from the keyboard.
You clearly got communication problems. You don't need to wait for my reaction. Just ask your question. I see. Could you repeat that for me, please? Some of these diagnoses are new to me.
The White looks interested. She types rapidly on her keyboard without looking at the screen.
I'll update the data on my conditioned clinical progress. Maybe that will help me be more efficient with our communication.
Karma returns to her computer.
Looks like establishing trust between us isn't yet possible. Leave the room, please. I've got work to do, and your presence is distracting.
She gestures casually at the door. Nakamura turns away from the window.
I do hope you've come for a reason.
Nakamura folds her arms and assumes a thoughtful expression.
Do you remember our conversation at the council? The part where we spoke about every participant being an equal. You may criticize my decision to have you work for the benefit of all parties. At the same time, I was tying their hands. You should be grateful. Now, they can't involve you in their spy games, knowing that you might already be working for me, or Carmine Heights, or the church. Whatever, I wouldn't know.
Kimiko stares at her computer screen.
I could give the order right now, and Henrietta will receive all the necessary provisions, money, and fuel for her expedition. However, I need a favor from you in return. More than one, actually.
Kimiko twines her fingers together.
The new committee invested a significant amount of capital and man-hours into the emulator. We need to enlist our opponents to ensure the project's success, sacrificing our political influence. All of this weaken the NC inside and out. Both the emulator project and the people of the Dome owe us, and I intend to collect. Control over the city and Magellan has weakened lately. Without discipline, everything will fall apart. The new committee's position must be strengthened drastically. That will be your task.
Nakamura stares intently at you, her body rigid. The chairwoman scans the monitor.
Then begin with disposing of the confiscated selectrons. They're in a box in Magellan Police Headquarters, currently in Antonio Aguirre's possession. Pick up the box, bring it to the waste dump, and get rid of it.
Santiago flashes a sparkling white smile.
Here you are again. Dare I hope you bring good news.
Santiago spreads his arms as if about to hug you.
Yes, we designed such a device. There's only one working prototype, however. Seems like you need an implant and we need your help. So let's help each other. Isn't this a miracle of human cooperation? We need people, new faces, new followers who will flock to us once they've seen our happiness and miracles. You will show them these miracles. You will help us find these people.
He tilts his head and looks at you with an expectant smile. The Reverend gives you a beaming smile.
Wonderful. Inside the end table in my office is a briefcase that contains a pair of teleglasses and a megaphone. You must preach and entice people to our glorious temple.
Good day to you. I hope to see you again soon.
You choose a place not far from the entrance to the council building. Teleglasses in hand, megaphone switched on, everything's ready for the sermon. Citizens are bustling past you. Some increase their pace when noticing you. You have to attract the attention of the audience somehow. You speak loudly and enthusiastically about the church's wonderful new world, raising the teleglasses over your head from time to time. People stop to listen, and some even approach you. The middle-aged woman who came up to you hesitates for a long time before putting the device on. She rubs at the lenses and fumbles the glasses around, studying them from different angles. Hey, are there any medical contraindications? I've got weak blood vessels. No, I don't mind wearing them, but if I drop dead, it will be on your conscience. When you start the sermon, the woman's mouth drops open and she grabs her head with both hands. She keeps standing like that, afraid to move, until the end of the session. Once she's certain the show is really finished, she takes the glasses off, face flushed with excitement. Oh, people have really gone mad. This is from the church, you said? I'll go have a look, but if something happens to me, it'll be your fault. She leaves. You wipe the glasses with a sanitizing cloth. Looking up again, you notice a stranger watching you closely.
Hello again. Come back again.
You come to the gas station holding your demo teleglasses with a megaphone hanging from your belt. Looks like it's time to preach. The city dwellers, long used to church propaganda, aren't eager to approach. You obviously need to catch their interest somehow. You dance while waving your teleglasses on high. It feels awkward and embarrassing, and also produces no result. Nobody approaches you, though you definitely did attract some attention. Watching the passers-by, you notice a blue deeply engrossed in his kairos. Maybe he would be interested in the virtual world the church offers. He eagerly accepts your offer to discover a new world through the magic of teleglasses. Teleglasses, then, is it? Wow, I thought you were handing out Bibles or something lame like that. What kind of hardware are they running? I see. And the resolution? 320 by 200? Cool, that's some serious rendering. I'm impressed. Give it here. The blue puts the teleglasses on and freezes, staring blissfully into vacant space. When the virtual sermon is over, the technician reluctantly returns the device. Some of the pixels are too bright, but it's cool overall. If they're really offering them for free, I'll be there. He goes away. You wipe the glasses with a sanitizer-saturated cloth. The stranger who was watching you during the previous sermon is hanging about nearby. Once out on the crossroads beside the church, you turn up the megaphone hanging at your belt. Few people visit this part of the city except for the church novitiates. So, you'll have to speak firmly and loudly. You need your sermon to be heard, need to attract people's attention. You speak loudly and enthusiastically about the silver. A skinny, pimply fellow reaches tentatively for the teleglasses.
Can I try them? I like technology and stuff. It's cool.
You play the sermon, and the guy turns his head several times, confused. He's both a little frightened and deeply impressed. When the sermon is over, he takes the glasses off. Wow! That was just like a movie. Can I see it again? Where? In the church? I see. Thanks. He goes away. You wipe the glasses with the sanitizer-saturated cloth. Looking up, you see again the odd stranger who tailed after you during previous sermons. You wave your hand, gesturing the stranger over. He looks cautiously around as he approaches. Listen, there's a fellow I know who would like your sermon very much, but he can barely move his legs. Let's go see him. It's not far. The man gives you a sad nod. Yeah, right. New followers are good. Well, follow me. You walk down the street. At the mouth of a dark, narrow alley, he turns to you. His smile snaps off as he pulls a handmade shiv from his belt and forces you into the alleyway, pressing the knife to your throat.
Oh, what do you want? Later!
Hello. Come back again.
Santiago flashes a sparkling white smile.
Here you are again. Dare I hope you bring good news.
The Reverend spreads his hand on his chest.
Isn't it wonderful? How did everything go? Did you enjoy being a shepherd leading our flock to the light? It could not be any other way. People love the temple, and the temple loves the people.
Santiago takes the briefcase from you. Pushing the teleglasses case aside, he rests his hands on your shoulders.
Thank you for your good work. One more small request, and the implant is yours. The temple uses a device, the ejector. It would take too long to explain what it's for, and it doesn't matter all that much. What's important is that the ejector is now in a secret chapel in the city sewers, but we need it here. Find Brother Becker and Sister O'Keefe and collect the ejector from them. Not that difficult, right? Remember, the secret chapel is in the sewers. I'll be waiting for you with the device. Here, take this key.
forgot something. Goodbye. Oh, hello.
The loud echo of voices and light shimmering on the walls brings you to the church's secret chapel. The dead end of the sewer system maze, decorated with flags. The lamps are dim, though candles in glass jars on the floor and in little nooks in the walls add some light. You see 3 figures in a corner, clad in the church robes. You move closer. One person is sporting a strange device on his head. It resembles a customized motorcycle helmet with a glass flask embedded in the crown. Bright scarlet light glows through the person's skin, and smoke is leaking from beneath the helmet. The stranger's mouth is stretched in a silent scream. Something flashes inside the helmet. A bright beam of light runs over optical cables emerging from the flask. The person in the helmet startles and sinks slowly to the ground, as if deflating.
I'm listening. Later.
Santiago flashes a sparkling white smile.
Here you are again. Dare I hope you bring good news. Did you bring the ejector?
There is a discreet concern in the Reverend's tone. Santiago gently picks up the ejector and hands it to an initiate.
Thank you.
The Reverend drapes an arm around your shoulders.
Thank you for the invaluable help you provided to the temple. Why are you looking at me like that? I hope I haven't offended you in some way.
The preacher rests his hands on his chest in a gesture of apology.
I should have warned you. You witnessed the withdrawal process but did not understand its rationale. You were shocked by the external side. It is the wish of the terminally ill people to undergo the procedure to end their suffering. With the help of the ejector, they're transported to a world of our creation. But this is a complicated subject. Take the implant. That's what you came here for, right?
Santiago writes something on a piece of paper.
The chip is inside a safe in my office. Use this passcode. I'd like to tell you something. You caught the attention of the abbot. Before you go, I'd like you to meet him. He will be waiting for you in here.
The Reverend hands you the teleglasses. You put the teleglasses on. The church room's dim light is quite enough for the familiar image to start forming before your eyes. You hear the slosh of the sea again. Your feet touch the water, but as if it were hidden beneath a layer of translucent ice. Waves ripple beneath your soles. This place looks like the one where the previous sermon ended. The flat, black and blue sea, shimmering with white pixel waves, arches upward. It glows with the lights of a large city hanging above you. Sometimes you see people around you, blurry, pixelated figures glowing with tiny white lights. You called for Sister Maria, your guide, during the first sermon, but she doesn't appear. She must have been part of the demonstration program. In any case, she's not here now. You walk above the waves. You feel a strange conviction that whichever direction you take, you'll arrive at the right place. This appears to be true. The world turns around you, guiding you farther out to sea. Striding on and on, you notice footprints glowing right beneath your feet. They're translucent, only the edges marked by white, pixelated lines. Perspective makes the staircase shrink to a single white line in the distance above, at the very end of which you can see little merlins, like on the walls of a castle. You climb higher, away from the waves and toward the lights above. Your path ends at the top of a tower, where a tall old man with deep-set blue eyes meets you, the abbot. You can clearly see that he and the little space around him are full of real light and color. This place doesn't look like a computer simulation. The abbot cocks his head and studies you with one eye.
The one who's been through Maelstrom. I've always dreamed of meeting you.
He shakes his head.
The device you saw in action doesn't actually transfer the mind. It is a way to use the resources of a human brain for our calculations. Mind you, the user's brain is always used for calculations during a session. But this is an act of sacrifice, a demonstration of superior love to the Church, a brick of processed data to build another piece of our common paradise.
The abbot nods ponderously.
This is complicated and contradictory, I agree. But there is a way to resolve these contradictions. We discovered how to use Maelstrom as an enormous computing system. When we do so, the Church will change. We shall not need ejectors anymore. We shall no longer be restricted to a world of 16 colors. We shall perform magnificent feats with the naked power of our minds. No more domestic problems, no need to eat or sleep and so on. Reasonable solutions to conflicts. Any experiment that may be modeled can be performed. Mayhaps we shall discover immortality, or a way to leave the dome. Or we might transfer our minds here and live forever.
He rests his cool gaze upon you.
If only we had Maelstrom.
The abbot snaps his fingers and the tower bursts with light. As if upon a giant screen, your face is displayed on the pixelated clouds, frozen in the center of the ring.
Though maybe you have doubts, or the opposite is true and I have convinced you. It does not matter to me, because I myself believe in this idea. You arrived in the middle of the daily sermon. Hundreds of followers await my speech, but today you will be the one speaking. Say whatever you wish. The doubters will leave, but the rest will only grow most certain that they tread the correct path. Are you ready? What will you tell them?
He steps aside and falls silent. Bent into a ring, the still, silent world, shimmering with lights, lies below. You are standing in its very center. At the apex of a translucent tower, your face is being projected upon white clouds and black and blue skies with flows of light. The eyes of hundreds, maybe thousands of people must be enthralled to you now. Looking at the coast, you notice plenty of tiny forms on the beach. They're waiting for you to speak. You address the people far below in a clear, echoing voice. You try to sound reasonable and weigh your words. Some fight against Maelstrom, some adapt to it, some ignore it. Each person's decision is neither good nor bad, but simply a matter of personal choice. It all sounds convincing enough. Even the abbot, standing at the edge of the landing, seems to consider your words. Your speech finished, you bid everyone farewell and step from the tower top into the waves rustling down below. You rip the teleglasses off a moment before landing and find yourself back in the city church room once more.
Floor level, -3, garrison and isolation ward.
And I was starting to get bored. See ya.
And I was starting to... See ya.
See you later.
Floor level -6, administrative sector.
Oh, you again. Later.
Attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Floor level -.
See you later.
And the rogues take the lead again. The point gap is minimal. We expected your trick to continue until the end of the game. And the rogues take the lead.
Come on, wake up. Help me. Please, someone. Help me. Come on, wake up. Please, someone. Help me. Come on, wake up.
Scum.